With great power comes great responsibility. That line is used in a movie quite a bit. One of the most recent famous places it was used was in a movie called Spider-Man. But I want to use that statement now as an example of what we should be as a Christian. What we should be as a Christian whom God has placed a lot of things in our power. Sometimes God will place power in your right hand. He's done this with a lot of Christians before. Most of who lets him down terribly. And I remember some of the TV evangelists who had fallen, and they undoubtedly were, in the beginning, good-hearted, great intention. It was a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time. And they slowly got sucked into doing something immoral or even illegal. And so happened with Ahab and Jezebel in the Bible. 1 Kings chapter 19. Elijah just had killed all the prophets of Baal that was left within the country there, and he was feeling the victory, I guess, Elijah was. And Ahab, who was king, didn't have enough nerve. He was a cowardly type of a man, apparently. He was mad at Elijah, and one of the greatest statements in the Bible that Ahab said to Elijah was, "You are the enemy of the people of Israel." Elijah says, "I'm not the enemy, but you're the enemy that is causing Israel to sin." So that's the kind of relationship they had. And the guy I'm pointing to here is Ahab. With great power comes great responsibility. He wanted the power. He just didn't want the responsibility to go with it. A lot like liberals are today. They want great power, but they don't want the responsibility that goes with it. They just want to get up there and give out free stuff. That's not being responsible, folks. That's not being responsible. Being responsible is causing it to grow. Being responsible is causing things to prosper. That's what being responsible is. With great power comes great responsibility. Our nation grew at a 1% rate the whole time Obama was in office for 8 years. What's wrong with that? It grew? Well, yeah, but the inflation grew at about 7%. So we're losing 6% there. Any way you look at it. Boss told me one time, he says, "We handed out a 3% raise. Why is everybody so upset?" I said, "Boss, the inflation grew at 7%. Oh. Anyways, So this is what Ahab did. Now this is the act of an irresponsible person. Ahab went and told Jezebel. Now, a lot of you out there know who Jezebel is. Jezebel is the most evil woman ever lived on the face of the planet. Prophecy was that she would die and the dogs would eat her. And that prophecy came true. Because of such an evil person. You ever notice nobody names their kid Jezebel? I had a niece that started to name her baby Jezebel. I said, whoa. I said, hold on there. I said, don't you know who that is? Oh. So she didn't name her Jezebel. And Jezebel, this is what Jezebel did, okay? I really don't want to get, because here Jezebel was stepping up into a place where she shouldn't really had any power at all. She was the queen, and Ahab was the king. So, but this is what she did. And this, you can tell how far this was gone, you know, by reading this statement. Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah saying, so let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this same time. And about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life. And what happened was Ahab slain the prophets of Baal, and that's who she was talking about, because that was her thing, you know, that was her thing. So that's how far it excuse me, that's how far it had gone. Ahab had handed the kingdom over to Jezebel. I mean, you know, this lady, man, she reminds you so much of Hillary. Because the way she did things was, didn't matter whether it was moral, didn't matter whether it was legal. I'm sure some of the stuff she was doing there, according to Jewish law, was not legal. Okay, so, and they probably never sacrificed, you know, as a temple, didn't care. That's what kind of thing that lifestyle will lead you into. Okay, so that's what happens when you have great power but no responsibility. You know, I've often wondered what I would do, and I've contemplated about it, and I've talked to God about it several times. And to be truthful with you, God has told me that He was going to place power in my right hand. Great power. Great power. Power to move things. God has told me He's going to do that. And I believe Him. And I've wondered a lot of times what I'm going to do when this happens. What to do first. Was, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking little stuff, you know. I'm like, well, I can buy a house or two for some poor folks, family, you know, that kind of thing. Maybe help some people out. I really want to look into helping some preachers out who I know are real preachers, not just television evangelists, who want to get bigger stuff. Some of them, all they want to do is just get bigger stuff. They really don't care if God's in it or not. They just want bigger stuff. And you know, and that type of thing. But you know, I don't think big enough. I'm telling you the truth, man. I don't think I'm gonna have to have God's help in this. You know, God's ideal of big is number of the sands of the sea. You know, that's His ideal of great is. You look up and you see the trillions of solar systems. solar systems, galaxies. I mean, not just solar system, trillions of galaxies. That's God's idea of great, and I don't think big enough. If you know what, if God placed the finances of all the world in my hand, you know, what would I do with it? What would I do? You know, some people say, I don't want it. You know, I don't want it. But what if He did? What would be the first thing you'd do? Leave me a message. Tell me, what would be the first thing you'd do? What kind of responsibility would you hold if you had great power in your hand? All right, God bless. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next time. Crossing the Middle Ministry.